Welcome to Planet Marzipan Podcast,
your fish and Marillion podcast,
where we talk about all things in the planet of Marillion and fish. I'm Mezza, and here's my mate,
Craig Houston. Hebrew, Darren, I have accepted your request, young sir.
Again, every time you do, you're so accommodating. Or easy, whichever.
Yeah, you know the answer to that.
I do, yeah. Happy New Year! It's 2025! Whoop, 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 whoop. It's convention year. Yeah.
It's World War III year. Yay!
Welcome to Planet Marzipan. I'm Mezza. I'm here with my good friend.
Craig.
And we have a bonus episode for you today, people. As part of our, it isn't apparently, yeah. Obviously, yeah. New Year's Day hangover. We interviewed some guys from the tribute bands as part of our wrap up of 2024.
Yeah. Best laid plans and all that.
Yeah,
John, with his great idea.
It was a good idea.
Yeah, we'll just interview these guys. We'll just have a couple of minutes, like each, just to say hello and all that kind of shenanigans. So, oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And then we interviewed people, and as usual, we all gobshite.
Well, it didn't help that our review of the year was 2 hours, 10 minutes long. So anyway, you know, it's all waffle, ladies and gents, but we interviewed Mark from Marquee Square Heroes. We interviewed Michelle from Something Else. We interviewed Mike from Cillirion, and finally Rich from Splintering Heart. All great tribute bands, and we asked them how their 2024 was and what's coming up from in 2025. So,
we did, we asked Martin about Still Marillion in part 2. So if you haven't listened to part 2 yet, go back and listen to that first.
Yeah. Martin gave us the year from Still Marillion's point of view in part 2 of our review of the year. So as Craig says, go back and have a listen if you haven't. But for more tribute band stuff, listen on.
And enjoy.
Okay, as part of our 2024 review, we're picking up with some of the Marillion tribute bands, and we're really pleased to welcome Mark Colton to the pod from Marquee Square Heroes. Hi, Mark.
Hey, guys. Good to talk to you.
And you. 2 questions, really. How was 2024 for Marquee Square Heroes?
It was probably, to be fair, it's been beyond our wildest expectations. We came into this as a bunch of guys who really wanted to do our best and see what we could do, and having played some of the venues with Credo in the past, I must admit I was a little bit wary, and given how well established and how good Still Marillion are, I was a little bit wary about how it was all going to go, to be frank. We've had a phenomenal year. We've done 25 or 26 shows. We've played all over the UK.
Quite a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah. Probably more than the band do now when they go on tour.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, from we went up to Scotland. We went out to Northern Ireland, Northern Ireland was just an amazing experience. They were really, really pleased to see us. And it must be what it was like being in the band at the time.
Really? Yeah.
The moment we walked onto the stage, the audience were going berserk. I would say in my 45 years of gigging, it's probably up there in my top two favorite gigs that I've ever done, up there with Credo in Philadelphia. Um, we went out to Wales, went to Cardiff, and Cardiff was sold out. Um, and it was a really bonkers venue. The audience were literally nose to nose with us. Uh, and I've now started using it in monitors because I couldn't actually hear what I was singing because of what was coming back from the audience in Cardiff.
They're just
Right.
too loud singing back here.
It
That's
was
great.
unbelievable. And Robin, the guitarist, had a similar problem that people were whistling or humming or whatever to the guitar solos. Um, so yeah, we've had an amazing year.
Brilliant.
The response that we've had has been phenomenal. We've had a lot of venues want us for next year that weren't interested this year, which tells me that word's gone round that we're doing a good show. We managed to end the year doing 2 hours and 20 to 2 hours and 30 for each show.
Jeez.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, that must be what it feels like to be in Springsteen's band. Um, and and for those of the guys that are listening that don't know, we play entirely Fish period material. Um, and there was a lot of words, and he was very angry, and he sang them really high.
Is any
Um,
clamps involved in this, Mark? No.
oh, nearly. Um,
Tight trousers.
well, we did get a female backing vocalist to do the some of the really high bits, and
Yeah.
it's added something really to the show. She does the "You Can Brush Me Under the Carpet" bit in Incubus, um, and every night that we've done it, it's absolutely stunned the audience. And I mean, we're not trying to reinterpret the songs, but if you know, when you know the words, and we clearly probably all do, it really adds something different to the song with it being a female voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I've got to say, Claire Erskine's the young lady who sings it, and she does it brilliantly. Yeah, it's just as I say, I mean, we didn't know what to expect. First night was at the Robin um, on a wet Thursday night in February, and I've done it with headlined it with Credo and done it and with festivals, and we had more people in there than I've seen in there for any of the prog gigs I've ever done or been to. Um, and that was the beginning of a really amazing year for us.
Yeah.
The 1865 in Southampton was another phenomenal night. It was a very, very, very wet, cold evening. It was Easter Sunday, and I anticipated there being three people there, to be honest. Um, and you sort of walk along a balcony bit, and we couldn't help to peek out and see what was going on. And the place was absolutely rammed. All the seats were taken up, people were standing. And again, they just went bonkers. So yeah, it's been great. I mean,
Brilliant.
and to finally get the chance to sing those songs after them being the soundtrack to my youth. I mean, the first time I saw Marillion was at the Marquee, um,
Which
support,
year?
supporting Spider, whenever that was.
Oh, right. Wow.
The band I was in at the time, I tell the story actually at the gig, so apologies if anybody's listening in and they've already heard it. But I was in a new wave of British heavy metal band at the time, and we rehearsed at the same studios that Spider used. And we were either going in or coming out every week when we went in, and they invited us to go down and go on the guest list. And I just went in and sort of stood there. And I remember them coming out and not thinking too much of it, apart from how big Fish was.
Mm.
And then thinking, blimey, this is different. I was too young to remember the prog bands. I mean, I knew of Genesis and stuff like that, but I'd really sort of grown up listening to the new wave stuff um, and Three Boats and The Web were the two songs that got me. And it's not an exaggeration to say they changed my life, certainly.
Yeah.
Uh, I
Yeah.
made job decisions, band decisions, with stuff with Credo, which got me the opportunity to release albums and do DVDs and go around the world and stuff. Um, if there's a sliding doors moment in my life, that was probably walking into the Marquee that night. Um, so yeah, it's just been fantastic. I had I don't know if you know this, I had an opportunity to audition for Mick Pointer's band when he was doing it.
All
Yeah,
right.
because Mike Varty's in it, isn't he?
Mike Varty's in it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Mike's in
Um,
Credo as well with you,
yeah. And Mike was in Fish's band briefly as well.
right? Yeah,
Um, and I'd had going back right to after they'd done the first gig with John Dexter Jones from Jump and before they got the other lad in. Um, and Nick Barrett literally lived around the corner from me at the time. But when I was about 39, I was very seriously ill and my bowel perforated basically. I had four
wow.
operations in 5 years, and I've now got a 21-inch scar down my abdomen to remind me of it. And I think it was after the first operation, or it may have been after the second operation, I had the opportunity to audition. And I was just in no way fit enough to go out and do the amount of dates that Mick wanted to do.
Yeah,
And I think with Brian, they got a guy as well who did what they wanted him to do. So that was, it worked out well for everybody. But I never thought I'd get the chance to do it after that.
yeah. Well, I've had lots of positive comments. We've not, unfortunately, not caught up with you. The only date you did around here was, I think, was Barnsley, was it?
Rotherham, wasn't it?
Rotherham. So Rotherham, sorry, beg your pardon. And the dates just didn't fit with us, but we're determined to catch up with you next year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
come up north, proper north.
Yeah, well, yeah. Done Scotland, Craig. They went past you.
Yeah, the overshot. You just need to put the brakes on when you kind of get close at the border.
yeah. Well, we're doing Rotherham again, and we'll definitely be up again. We're finalising dates at the moment. We've had to commit to one promoter that we won't publicise the dates until New Year's Day,
Yeah,
which I don't really understand, but hey ho. We're doing a show at the Marillion weekend next year as well, which we're delighted about.
yeah.
Um,
Playing on the Sunday, aren't you?
on the Sunday, yeah, on Sunday
Yeah,
afternoon, evening, I think. Yeah, we got some interesting ones next year. Um, Hopefully, some people look at and go, "Oh, okay, I'll have some of that." Playing some venues.
yeah,
I mean, we've got a couple of people who've been really good to us. Um, Bush, who used to book the bands at Marquee, Bush Telfer. He somewhat bizarrely lives in the same town that I live in. Uh,
right.
and My wife came home from work. She was working in adult education, and she said, "Oh, I met this guy at work who knows you." And I was like, "Oh." She says, Ian, which was his real name, Ian Telfer. And the Telfer registered with me, but I didn't get it was Bush from the Marquee. And Bush would originally booked Marillion for the Marquee. Still very friendly with a lot of the bands that played there at the time, but very much so with Fish.
Yeah,
And he's been to see us and said some really lovely things. And Steph, who did the web,
yeah,
has been very, very supportive and very helpful to us as well, which has been really re rewarding and surprising.
yeah,
Yeah, you just don't. I mean, I was 60 this year, and I was actually thinking about jacking it in, about stopping playing music completely. I've got a new Cradle album next year. I thought I'll just go on to that because I've been gigging with covers and tribute bands for 10 years now. Yeah, and we got this together. We did a couple of pub gigs, and we thought we could actually do something with this. I mean, we had to change drummers a couple of times, so in keeping with
In keeping with tradition, yeah.
yeah. And we also had a Biz moment, and we had to change a bass player as well.
right.
Um, and They all thought it was very hilarious that they decided it was my band and I was the assassin on one of the drummers and the bass player. But
Mm.
hey ho.
As
Well,
long as you're keeping away from a croft for now, then we'll be
yeah,
fine.
Yeah,
yes,
I have every respect for the man, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't. I think he must be 6 or 7 years older than me, and there's no way I'd go and live in a bloody croft now, let alone then.
no. Interested. We'll all watch that. See how that pans out. Are you going to catch the big man on the final tour?
Yeah, I couldn't avoid it. So I'm going to a few of the dates. I have to say that after the Clutching at Straws revisited thing he did, I can't remember how long ago now, I did say I'd never go again.
Right.
But um, it'll be good for one last hurrah. And I think I'm sure from what I'm hearing from European contacts, they're going to be good shows.
Well,
So,
he was on great form in Utrecht, and that was the second night
of
there.
course, you guys went, didn't you?
Yeah, we went over
Yeah.
to Utrecht to
Yeah.
see the second show, and he sounded great to us.
Yeah.
So,
I think, I mean, from what I've heard, it's been sensible. You know, he blew a date when he started to have some problems.
yeah,
Um, you know, it is really difficult being a singer, especially if when you're doing that sort of material. I mean, he was singing out of his range back then, so he must have wrecked his voice.
yeah,
And you know, he was a bit of a party animal, as we all know.
yeah.
But you just can't do any of that stuff. I mean, I've been fortunate in some respects that I've always had a day job to go to as well in all the bands I've been in over the years. So I couldn't. But I think I'd have been dead if I could have, because I'd have absolutely abused it.
Yeah.
Parties your way around Europe and America.
Yeah. Um, but no, I'm really looking forward to it. It looks like the set list is really good.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So yeah, really, really looking forward to it. And you've got a great band as well.
yeah. Okay. Well, look, Mark, we're going to get you back on the pod and talk to you much more in the new year
Yeah,
about Marquee Square Heroes and Credo and some of the stuff that you've been doing.
brilliant.
Want to thank you for coming on here.
No, thank you.
We wish you and the band all the best for 2025.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Happy New
The
Year.
dates are released. Ping them across to us. We'll get them on the Facebook group and get them
will
out
do.
there.
Yeah,
But,
thanks a lot, guys.
we wish you all Happy New Year.
Yeah, and to you, and happy New Year to all the listeners. Can I just say hello to Spav, to Fletch, that's the keys and the drummer, because I've mentioned it, and Andy, the bass player, who's got a really good book out at
Has
the
he?
moment. If you're into Rush at all,
I am.
yeah, Andy Faulkner. Have a look. Try and find it. I can send you a link if you can't find it.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
He's been on 20. He's been a stupid amount of Rush dates all around the world, including the last gig,
Wow.
and he's written a book about it.
Strangely, I just had power windows on downstairs while I was washing the pots. How weird is that?
Excellent. Great to talk to you guys. Have a
All
great
right.
Christmas. Happy New Year to everyone.
Cheers, Mark.
Cheers,
Cheers,
guys.
Okay, we're joined now by Michelle from Something Else, the tribute band who play the Montreal convention. I certainly know you've done that, but you've done a few gigs over 2024, haven't you?
Yeah, we did a few, but also that was a year of transition for Something Else because the band was originally formed in the 80s, and we used to do original, and we decided to get back on that project too. So we got together and get a few of the old songs, but new songs also, and we'll be completing our first album. It's almost all recorded, and it's in the process of mixing now, so it should be out early spring.
Fantastic.
So
Fantastic.
that's going to be original project
Yeah.
from Something Else.
And have you done what sort of shows have you done in 2024? Can you give us some venues or some cities that you played?
Yeah, we've played in the South Shore of Montreal twice because the first night was sold out, so we had to to get back to them a few months later. Then we played in Quebec City in a venue called Salle Dina Bélanger, and that was very interesting. But there's a new gigs coming out for 2025. We're going to be very more active than we did in 2024.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. And I presume you're playing something over the Montreal weekend, are you?
Yes, of course. There's going to be the Saturday afternoon, as usual, at the Café Campus, which is a nice venue for that particular happening. And tickets are already on sale, and there's quite a few sold so far. So we're very excited to play that gig.
Fantastic. Where are they best to go for tickets? Via the band website?
Either the band website or the Café Campus, the place we're playing.
What is the band website?
The band website is www.somethingelsmusic.net.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Can you give us a bit of a sneak preview on what sort of a set list you might be playing over the Montreal gig?
Um, we play. We got to play at actually 2.5 hours of only fishery of course, era,
Yeah.
and a few ones that we did, but mostly we almost completed the Clutching at Straw, so we might be playing the whole album.
Yeah.
Oh,
Last time we
blimey.
played, yeah, last time we played the Misplaced Childhood in entirely, and but we want to keep Misplaced Childhood for a very special project in 2026.
Okay. Wow.
We're gonna recreate the Power Window Tour, which Marillion opened for Rush in 1986 in Canada.
Yeah.
And we have a tribute band, a Rush tribute band, friend, and we're gonna set that up. It's already all canned. Everything is getting in place. That should be in March 2026.
Well, I'd love to
Uh,
see that. That
I was
sounds
going to say, I
amazing.
can see you
I
salivating
would
there,
love
John. That would
Power Windows is my favorite Rush album as well. It's just, yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah,
have to
and
save
that was
up.
an epic show. I was there in
Oh, yeah.
1986, and Marillion almost stole the Rush
Wow.
show. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a classic, and
That
we
sounds
should be playing.
fantastic. Yeah. So can you name check the other guys in the band for us?
Oh yeah, the bass player is called Paul Roberge. My drummer is called Pierre Latulippe. They're all French Canadian names, you know.
That's why I'm
Tough
asking
to.
you to say them, and I'm not attempting them. Yeah.
The keyboard player is Martin Tremblay, and the guitar player is called Stéphane Bergeron. So
Okay. All right. Well, look.
the five of us were we got together in 1984. As a matter of fact, it's 40 years now, and somehow we split up for like 20 some years that we didn't see each other, and we got back together in 2014. So
Wow. That's fantastic.
yeah,
And
it's
the
been
reviews of the band are really, really strong. I've read some great reviews of your 2024 gigs. So and you
yeah.
seem to be loving it.
Of course, that's a thrill to play those songs, and we worked very hard. That was it came out like as a surprise. We were just jamming original and a few of the covers, and we got called by a producer who asked us to do the Fish era tribute, especially in to 2018,
Mhm.
and from there everything got going and
Snowballed from
going,
there,
and
yeah.
yeah.
Have you
So
never looked at doing any of the H era things?
we we did a few songs, but what happened is we mainly were asked specifically for that show, and we kept it as it is so far. So
Yeah, yeah.
because when we got into that show, there was another band doing the H era, so we were completing the night with the two bands separately. But we never know. We might be doing some someday.
Okay. Well, look, we wish you all the best for 2025. And we're looking forward to catching up with you in Port Zealand.
Yes, I hope we'll be there because with Annick's promotion, it's possible that we have to miss the Port
Oh,
Zealand.
is
But
it? Oh dear. Oh
Oh
well,
no.
fingers
I'm
crossed. We
very
hope to
sad
see you there. I'm sure it'll
because
be awful if you're not there. It'll be not worth going to. But look, we want to thank you for coming on the pod. We wish you all the best for 2025. And we will speak to you again in the new year. And we'll talk in much more detail about the band and what you've got coming up and about your fandom, your Marillion fandom.
yeah. I'd like to thank you and wish you great holiday season and a very happy 2025 to and your podcast. Long life to your podcast. It's great. I listened to a few of them and it's very fun.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Cheers,
Thank you,
mate. Thanks a
Michelle.
lot.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you so much.
We're joined now by Mike Askew from Cillirion. Hiya, Mike. Welcome to the podcast. Or welcome
Good
back.
evening, gents.
How are you?
I'm not bad. I've got a trapped nerve in my shoulder, but other than that, I'm bearing up under the strain of life.
Oh, that doesn't sound good for a bass player.
It's not. It's very painful. It doesn't stop me doing anything. I can
Yeah.
still use my arm and everything, but it's just there all the time. It's like toothache in my shoulder. Not
Okay.
nice.
Bloody uncomfortable.
Yes.
Well, we brought you on this episode, Mike, to ask you how 2024 was for Cillirion.
It was very interesting. It was pretty good, I would say. I'd say that there were more ups than downs. There were one or two downs, about one of them, which I'm not going to detail about. We played our first theatre gig at the Citadel. That was an experience, really interesting. We could have scheduled it a better date than on the Euro final day, but
You played on the afternoon, didn't you? You played in the afternoon. Yeah. It's a lovely venue. It's the Citadel. It's St. Helens.
It's a crap place. Yeah, it's got a lot of history with me. With being local to me, I've seen a lot of bands there over the time, including Fish. Saw Fish there a few years ago on the Fish Head store.
Yeah. Where else have you played this year?
We played a few new venues that we haven't played before. We played Audio in Glasgow. That was great. We played what's it called in Hull?
O'Reilly's?
O'Reilly's. Yeah. I couldn't think of the name then for a minute. Getting old.
Never admitted that.
We almost had a disaster at the weekend at Chichester.
Yeah, there's a problem with the venue, wasn't there?
Yeah, they had a street market outside. It was the first day of it, and apparently it had kept tripping out the power in the town hall all day. And because of that, the emergency lighting had kept coming on. So by the time we got there, they'd sorted the power out, but the emergency lighting batteries were drained. So health and safety wouldn't let them put the gig on because there was no emergency lighting. So fortunately, we rescued it and found a venue. Well, it wasn't really a venue. It was a wine and cask ales bar down the road. But they accommodated us, and it was a nice, cosy gig in the end.
Yeah. Well, we saw you in Gateshead.
And we'll be back there next year.
Yeah. Well, we saw you Gateshead, didn't we, earlier in the year?
Yeah.
That was a cracking gig.
Yeah, and we enjoy it. We can't not enjoy any of our gigs. Marillion fans are just such a lovely bunch of people. We get such good feedback, and such love. It's like you can't. I don't know. You can't buy that. If you could bottle that up and sell it as a drug, you'd be a billionaire.
Yeah.
It's when you got 100 odd people all singing their heads off, it's wonderful. It's not an ego thing. It's a joy of giving all those people happiness. It's going. What we're doing is making all these people dead happy, and that's.
Yeah. Well, the night we saw you was brilliant. We had a great night. Everybody else in the audience, highly recommended. What have you got lined up for 2025 that you can tell us about, Mike?
Well, we've got some new venues. We'll be opening the shows. The first one of the Misplaced Childhood, because obviously we're doing Misplaced Childhood this year.
Yeah.
First one will be in Liverpool, which we haven't done before. That'll be 1st of March at Fogarty's in Liverpool.
Right.
It's similar to the Irish club that we play in Warrington. So yeah, that's a new venue. We'll be playing a new venue in Bolton. And we've got one or two more. We're not announcing it till we've got them all absolutely confirmed.
Yes.
Because we want to just announce it as a block thing. You know, here's our gigs for the year. You never know. One or two might be added on afterwards, but we want to try and just do a block.
So where's the best place for fans to look for that? On your Facebook page?
Always on the Facebook page. We'll always update everything first there. You know, a lot of the ticket sales will be via Skiddle, but one or two of the events are organised by different people, so they have their own ticket sales. But everything will be on our events page. All events will be there. I don't know if you've noticed the two that are already there. They're interesting ones for us for next year. We're doing in May. We're doing a Reading Rock 82 revisited.
Yeah.
And we'll be playing the set from that year, which is interesting set. They actually finish with She Chameleon, which is quite an odd one to finish on.
That's unusual, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's actually, listening to the recordings, it's that original version that they used to do, which was quite upbeat and heavier than. But
I think I prefer that one, to be honest with you, yeah.
I don't know. We're not really keen on it, and we're thinking that we're probably just going to play the proper version of She Chameleon. You know?
Can't end a gig with the album version of She Chameleon. Everyone will be asleep, man.
Well, we'll have to discuss it. It's early days yet. You know, it's a bit of an odd set, and it's not one that we choose personally. Obviously.
No, but you're reenacting it, so you've got to be true to it. I get it, absolutely, yeah. Well, look, it sounds like you. Is there another one? Is there another?
There's one in September, which is redoing Donington Monsters of Rock '85.
All right, okay.
So yeah, we'll be playing that one. That's a more interesting set, obviously, because it's
yeah.
Because that was the Z. Was that the ZZ Top? Where ZZ Top headline?
That's right. Yeah, it's ZZ Top with the headliners, and Marillion were like second on the bill.
Yeah, Marillion was second on the bill, and Bon Jovi were below them on the bill. So make sure that when you actually when you're doing the set lists and stuff like that, make sure the Bon Jovi tribute act are on actually before you, because you're better highlight, than they are. Just so you know.
Oh yeah, that's how it's listed on the poster. So the guys seem to want to do it as close to the real thing as they can. They've done it a few times apparently. It's like a group called Monsters of Rock Revisited, and they've done it a few times apparently already, and it looks like a great venue. It's a place at the Black something in Warsaw. But all details are on the.
Yeah. Sounds exciting. Well, look, you've obviously got cunning plans coming up, which will be on your Facebook page into the new year. But we want to wish you and all the rest of the
guys
a very happy new year. All the best for 2025.
And
keep doing what you're doing, and we'll talk to you again in the new year, but at much more length than this, if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to it, gents, and have a great Christmas and New Year yourselves.
Take care. Cheers, Mike.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot, mate.
Ta-ra.
Well, we're joined by Rich Harding from Splintering Heart. Hello, Rich.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. We'd like to ask you, how was 2024 for Splintering Heart?
Well, it was a year of two halves, because we did lots of stuff in the early half of the year, including playing in Leicester on the weekend that Still Marillion played as well.
Yeah.
And we had Jan Egil Overkill, the drummer from Misplaced Neighborhood, over to play with that, which is something that I've been doing for years and years, is swapping members between tributes when necessary.
Yeah.
Which is a really fun thing to do, and obviously it should work quite well, and it did. That was really good. We played a gig in Bristol later on that weekend as well, so that was really cool. So we did quite a few gigs in the early part of the year. We knew we were going to lose our drummer for family reasons, basically, and it happened that we did those two gigs with Jan, or Octo as he's known in Norway.
Okay.
He had some octobands, and there are two Yans in Misplaced Neighborhood. So bit of disambiguation there.
Okay.
So we did quite a few gigs in the early part of the year. I mean, we did our first public gig was Tavistock Wharf in, I think, early March last year.
Yeah.
So we'd only been going for a year by that point, and it was really, really cool. But then obviously we had an absolute bombshell in the middle of the year when Dave, our guitarist, was who started the band as well, was diagnosed with straight to stage 4 cancer. It's esophageal cancer, but it's spread massively.
Yeah.
So he has spent the second half of the year with, I think he's had now 6 doses of chemo. He's actually looking really well, amazingly well, considering. So we've been doing the odd rehearsal here and there, and we've got a new drummer, Chaz Allen from Reading, who's massive Marillion fan. Really up for it, really enjoying playing. So we've been able to do some rehearsals, but that's why we've had to cancel, postpone rather, the gigs that we had planned. And we had quite a few planned for the second half of the year. Which would have been really cool, of course, because Marillion haven't been doing gigs themselves.
No.
So yeah, we had to cancel those and postpone them mainly. But we're playing on Saturday in Winchester. At the Railway, which we've done once before, just over a year ago, and we're hugely looking forward to that because, as I say, we haven't played since the end of May.
Well, I hope that goes really well for you guys.
Thanks.
Can you give the listeners a bit of an idea of the set list that you play currently?
Yeah, so we're doing. We basically play. The idea is to play things that current day Marillion might put in a set list.
Right.
That's the rule, basically. Yeah. So if H won't sing it, we don't play it.
Yeah.
So we'll play Fish era tracks that H will sing. Slange, Sugar Mice, Warm Wet Circles, That Time of the Night. We're rehearsing those up. What else have we played? Garden Party. So we'll do those incommunicado, but mainly it's Hogarth era stuff. Obviously, I've been a fan. You know me, I've been a fan since literally since Tommy Vance playing the original EP, and absolutely adore both eras of the band. But there's loads and loads of other people out there doing the early stuff. Obviously, including God himself. So basically, it's that was. I've been doing this for 25 years, and first band that I did it with, Skyline Drifters, who are still a going concern. We just don't play very often. That was always Fish era, Hogarth era, even Fish solo. Well, Tony Tell was our keyboard player, so obviously we do that. We've even done the odd H solo track. We've definitely done You Dinosaur Thing, I can think of, and we play other stuff as well. So, but basically with Splintering Heart, the idea is we're a tribute to modern day Marillion. We will play stuff that modern day Marillion play, and that goes all the way up to the most recent stuff. We absolutely adore playing The Crow and the Nightingale. We love playing that. And there's 4 new tracks in our set on Saturday, some of which are quite recent as well.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to name check the other members of the band?
Yeah, so on guitar is David Blake. So Dave used to front a Pink Floyd tribute called Perfect Alibi. Well, I say front. He was Mr. Gilmore in Perfect Alibi. So exceptionally good guitarist. Chaz Allen, as I say, on drums is our newest member. Big Marillion fan. Greg Collingham on bass, who joined us approximately this time last year at very short notice. And a really consummate bass player. And a very, very nice chap too. And on keys, main keyboard player is Rob Wilshire, who many people will know from the progressive rock scene, Multi-Story, his own band. He's now in Connecticut, who seem to be going great guns with their current lineup. Luke Machin's in the band, really like their vocalist as well. and Satari. So yeah, they're superb, superb bunch of people to work with. Really, really good fun, and I particularly enjoy, obviously, because I'm playing the Hogarth role. I play a lot of keyboards, and a bit of guitar here and there, and I love collaborating with Rob on the keyboard stuff, because the modern day Marillion stuff obviously has multiple layers to it, loads and loads of layers to it, and it's about evoking the same sound that Marillion generate in huge auditorium, maybe in the massive tent in PZ, or in the Royal Albert Hall. It's about 5 of us managing as best we can to evoke that kind of atmosphere and sound as best we can, because there's an awful lot of layers in there. And it's great fun collaborating with Rob in particular on making that happen keyboard wise.
Well, we've had great reports about your gigs this year. I've got friends who've seen you. Unfortunately, we've not managed to catch you yet, so we're going to put that right next year. But yeah, we've heard stunning reports about the gigs, and people have had a fantastic time. So
thanks. We've had a really good response from everyone who's come to see us. We've had people travel quite substantial distances, having seen us once, to come and see us in other places, which is always really heartening. And it's, as I've always said all the way through, there's a lot of very passionate Marillion fans out there. I'm essentially an original material musician, as is Rob in particular, but I'm a huge Marillion fan. And when someone asks me to come and sing Marillion stuff, I find it very difficult to say no. When someone asks me to come and sing Marillion stuff and also play at the same time, I get a huge amount of enjoyment out of that, because I like a challenge. Because unlike Mr. H, I'm not primarily a keyboard player, or not originally a keyboard player, but I was playing keys in one of my originals bands before I joined Splintering Heart, and it's just great fun. But basically, as far as I'm concerned, I'm the head cheerleader for the people out in the audience. Anyone who's seen Misplaced Neighbour will know I go, this is an honour and a privilege to sing the songs. They're songs that have soundtracked our lives. And if I can do that and people enjoy it, then that gives me a huge amount of pleasure.
Are you able to tell us any more gigs that you've got in the diary for 2025, or is that a bit of a work in progress at the moment?
No, we've got quite a few on the website, which is splinteringheart.co.uk. So we're going back to Tavistock at the beginning of February. We're supposed to be going to Penzance before that, towards the end of January. We're doing Guildford again, quite early on in, I think, in the middle of January. We're then going back we'll be playing the Mars Bar again in Worcester. We're doing 2 gigs at the Firebug during the Marillion convention. So we're playing on let me get this right. Is it the Friday afternoon, the Saturday afternoon? It's on the website. I'll get shot. No, we're doing the Saturday afternoon, the Sunday afternoon. That's right. Yeah, we're doing the Saturday afternoon, the Sunday afternoon, and we're doing completely different sets for that. So we've already got probably about 3 hours worth of material, but we will be doing 2 completely separate sets of at least 2 hours for those gigs.
Wow, great. Well, lots to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. We're raring to go. As I say, Dave is doing exceptionally well with his treatment, and the band is keeping him going. The whole music thing is keeping him going. It is a massive spur for him, just as it was for me after my bike smash. Getting back on stage and everything. I know how much of a positive influence music can be.
Well, Rich, we've known you for years, and you're a massive fan and incredibly talented. But thank you very much for coming on here and talking to us today.
Cheers, mate.
We wish
my pleasure, absolutely. Yeah.
We wish you and the band all the best for 2025. Yeah. And we will speak to you in the new year, if that's all right.
Yeah, have a great festive period, and it'd be lovely to speak to you more in the new year. And I'll set it up so I'll sit at my keyboard with my guitar and everything, and yeah, maybe we can. I can noodle a few things for you as well. Who knows?
That'd be great. Absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. Well, that was lovely, wasn't it, folks? I hope you've learned something about the tribute bands. If you're able to see any of those guys, we do heartily recommend them. There's lots of stuff coming up this year now, 2025, because it is the 40th anniversary of
Misplaced Childhood and the 30th anniversary of
Afraid of Sunlight.
Hey.
Hey. So expect to hear some of those things across the year. We are planning to catch up with those guys again and do longer episodes about their bands. Certainly on the run up to the Leicester weekend, we will be doing some stuff looking at the tribute bands, and on the run up to the Montreal weekend as well. So, what's your New Year's resolution, Craig?
Yeah, don't do that again.
But you never learn. You never learn.
What's your New Year's resolution?
More is never enough.
And the year after, yours will be, I won't do that again.
Yeah, but well, every year that should have been mine, but I've never stuck to it. But we wish you a very happy new year. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate it. We'll see you out and about at gigs. We're doing 3 or 4 gigs on the Fish tour. We're in Leicester for Marillion weekend, and we're also at Port Zealand. So we will see you round about there if you're there.
And also listen out, because next week is our first of our 2 parts on This Strange Engine, and it's a corker.
Yep. Okay. Anyhow, all that remains to be said is it's good night from me.
And it's Happy New Year from me.
Take care.
And stay alive. Yay!
Yay! Stay alive in 25.
Unless it's World War III, then we're all screwed.
Well, yeah. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Planet Marzipan Podcast. Please like and subscribe from whichever platform you get your podcasts from. You can contact us at planetmarzipanpodcast@gmail.com and check out marillion.com, fishmusic.scot for all the good stuff.